Welcome to Kalima Hurra with me, George Galloway, on Almayadeen television, coming to you from London, but discussing this Nakba Day, the 70th anniversary of the catastrophe which overcame the Palestinian people, in which their country was wiped off the map, their people scattered to the four corners of the world. 800,000 Palestinian people were driven beyond the borders of their own country, and those 800,000 have now become 13 or 14 millions scattered everywhere around the globe. The lucky ones living here in London, the unlucky still living in refugee camps in the countries alongside, and some living in refugee camps inside their own country. Just imagine that, a technical impossibility. Technically, you can't be a refugee in your own country, but many Palestinians are, as have their fathers and mothers and their grandmothers and grandfathers. It was indeed a catastrophe by anybody's standards. It was accompanied by massacres, not as notorious as they should be. Massacres inside Palestine and massacres outside Palestine in 1970 and in 1982 and on many, many other occasions. It was accompanied by the physical elimination of whole villages, whole places with a history. It was accompanied by the destruction, not just of people's lives, but literally the fact that they had ever lived there at all. And the Palestinian people are, as I said, scattered. I met one once, a refugee, who told me she came from Haifa in the Arctic Circle in the town of Yellowknife in the very north of Canada, where it was 47 degrees below. She was 7 years old, but as far as she's concerned, she came from Haifa, even though neither she nor her parents had ever seen Haifa. She probably will inherit a key to a house which was once theirs, and which may or may not still stand, but if it stands, it's in the hands of foreigners. It was another example of white European colonialism, just like South Africa, just like Zimbabwe and many other parts of the former empire. Because the people who drove out the Palestinians, the people who stole their land, the people who extinguished their name from the map and hoped that they had been put into the museum of ex-people, were European settlers. That's why I continue to insist that Israel, as they call it, is a European settler state. It's a European settler state just like other European settler states around the globe. That catastrophe that we commemorate today, of course, has become a political issue of the greatest moment. Indeed, the greatest achievement, I believe, of the late President Yasser Arafat was that the Palestinian people refused to go into the museum of ex-people. They kept their name alive. They kept their flag aloft, and even when without legs and sitting on the ground on two stumps and being shot dead by Israelis through the fence on the Gaza border, they continue to hold it aloft. It's oftentimes, and now is one of them, a flag that is seen wrapped around the dead bodies of the martyrs who continue to insist that Palestine exists, that the Palestinians exist. In the last period, we have seen some grave atrocities take place through that fence in Gaza. And it's right that we keep them at the front of our mind. But Gaza is not Palestine. The occupation of Palestine, even the annexation of Jerusalem itself, are also a part of the Palestinian story. The occupation, the building of settlements, the creation of Jews-only roads, imagine, the dispersal of millions and millions of refugees without papers, without status, without citizenship, is all a part of this Palestinian story.